Hi, this is Dr. Allison Bested speaking with you today. I'm happy to be here with you to give you some pointers and coping tools to deal with the stress of our emergency situation, which is the coronavirus COVID-19. This talk is geared to people who have low energy, such as myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, Gulf War illness, and really any other physically or disabling condition. So welcome aboard. I'm the chair of integrated medicine and the medical director of the Institute for Neuroimmune Medicine, uh, the clinics, and these are located in the Dr. Karan C. Patel College of Osteopathic Medicine at Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. These are the designated principles of integrated medicine. As you can see, there are 8 of them. However, today we'll be touching on a few of them. And the first one is that the patient and practitioner are partners in the healing process. So I want you to know that all of us here are supporting you in the community, even though that you may not see us, we are working with you to help you during this stressful time. We realize that all factors influence health and disease, and basically we look at things from a perspective of the mind, the spirit, the community, as well as the body. We use appropriate both conventional and alternative methods here in the Einem Clinic to promote the body's own healing process. And we basically promote the concepts of health promotion and prevention of disease. And in this particular case, we want to help you to prevent the worsening of your symptoms with this COVID situation. So today we're going to talk about the mind-body. What is the mind-body connection? Does it play a role in resistance to disease? The answer is yes. The brain and the gastrointestinal tract or the gut do connect. There's bidirectional information flowing all the time from the brain to the gut and the gut back to the brain. The brain and gut communicate through the autonomic nervous system in the body. So this is all of us talking on our phones to each other during this stressful time, but also know that we're talking from our brain to our gut all the time. So the autonomic nervous system is the system in our body that controls the autonomic responses or reflexes in our body, things that control what we do without any thought process, without having to think about them. These nerves basically innervate our organs, our glands, and our blood vessels, and they help us to control our salivation, our digestion, our elimination, our heart rate, our perspiration, breathing, and our sexual arousal. When we compare the parasympathetic versus the sympathetic nervous systems, these are both part of the autonomic or the unconscious nervous systems, and these operate all the time in our bodies. The parasympathetic system is on the left-hand side, and it controls and helps our body to heal by resting and digesting. The sympathetic nervous system is on the right-hand side in the slide, and it helps us to deal with times of stress. And it's supposed to be meant as a system that's there for us intermittently as a way to cope with things like a car coming at you that's out of control, someone who's you have to get out of the way of in a hurry, but it's not supposed to be used all the time. And unfortunately, many of us are stuck in sympathetic overload and we're stressed continuously. And this is what's happening to some of you in the COVID virus situation, is that your body is more tuned up to the stress mode. So we need to get it more into the relax, the rest and digest mode, and to increase the parasympathetic tone in your body. This is another slide that shows, again, the outlay of the parasympathetic versus the sympathetic nervous system. So in the parasympathetic nervous system, again, it helps us to rest and digest. It helps us to heal, and it often helps more often in our sleeping time. It helps us to build muscle. It stimulates digestion, elimination. It stimulates this by releasing growth hormones, melatonin, adrenal, and sexual hormones, and it really helps repair our body. And it's particularly helpful at night. So this is why we really need to focus on getting you a better night's sleep. But we can also get into this mode when we meditate and take a time for rest during the day so that we promote the parasympathetic mode in our body. And again, the sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight reaction, jumping away from a speeding car. It basically mobilizes all our responses. It basically decreases digestion because all of our body focuses on removing ourselves from the dangerous situation or staying to fight it off. It stimulates our cortisol and adrenaline, increases our heart rate, our blood pressure, sweating, and blood flow to our limbs. So this is the part of our system we would like to reduce during the daytime and especially at night. So again, we have two brains in one body. We have the central nervous system, which is our brain, and we have the enteric gut, or the second brain, in our gut. And the reason I want to show you this is some of these things you obviously know. We have billions of nerves in our central nervous system. It produces neurotransmitters, the dopamine and the serotonin. However, our second brain, the gut, also has even more neurons, and it produces 95% of our serotonin levels. And serotonin is really important because it helps to regulate our anxiety, happiness, and mood. And low levels of this have been associated with depression. So it's really important for us to have a healthy gut so that it can help us to produce this. Part of having a healthy gut is having healthy bacteria inside our intestines. This is called our microbiome. So when we don't have a healthy amount of bacteria in our gut, it's called dysbiosis. And what happens is when we don't have the proper kinds of bacteria in the right amounts, um, our lining of our gut, which is called our epithelium or our mucosa, becomes holy or becomes open. It opens up what's called these tight junctions. So if you look at the slide here, you can see the epithelial cells. That's our mucosa. That's when you look in your mouth, you can see the white or the whitish or pinkish tissue. That's our epithelium, and that lines our entire intestinal tract. And that has to be kept intact. That's a barrier. That's a mucosal barrier. When it breaks down as a result of either bacteria or viruses or the wrong kind of bacteria in our intestinal tract, these tight junctions open up and things get in that normally don't get in. And our immune system, which, as you can see, these T cells, B cells, and mast cells that are situated underneath the mucosa are stimulated. And we're in a state of chronic inflammation. So it's really important that we have a healthy mucosal barrier. And if we do have a healthy mucosal barrier, we stay healthy, and our lifestyle helps to promote our health. However, if we do have an altered or a poor microbiota or dysbiosis, it can lead to ongoing chronic inflammation in our body. We have more aches and pains. It may lead to metabolic syndrome, which can lead into adult type diabetes, and it can be either leading to immune overload or immune deficiencies. So having your bacteria and having a healthy microbiome is really important for your health. This is just an overview of the immune system so you understand briefly what we're talking about here. Once a bacteria or virus gets past your mucosal barrier, that can be, and mucosal barriers include things like your nose, the mucous membranes in your nose, on your skin, in your intestine, in your lungs. Once something gets past that, then you have cells that are sitting in your system. These are tissue cells. They react with these bacteria or viruses. They digest them, they process them, they get the help of the rest of your immune system. That you have T helper cells that interact with next, and then these process, and then they produce cytokines, which either ask the immune system to get the B cells involved, which help produce antibodies, or they get the larger tissue macrophages and that manage the invasion of these viruses. So you eventually get engulfed by natural killer cells and other macrophages in your immune system. And this is how we develop immunity, either through the digestion of the particular particle, such as a virus, or the development of antibodies. So we know in COVID that there's a huge release of cytokines as a response to the virus, and we're looking at especially studies now that have come up with the fact that many people are reacting favorably to the combination of the Plaquenil and the Zithromax to help reduce the cytokine production so the people's symptoms are lessened as a result of being on these medications. So this is very helpful. So I'd like you to take action to reduce your stress. I want you to look at this time of COVID-19 as a season. There was a beginning of it. Now we're kind of in the middle of it. And I'm hoping as a result of the discoveries and the testing, the brand new testing that can instantly give us an answer within 15 minutes, we'll have a much better idea of who's infected, who's not infected, and how to deal with the infections much more cleverly. Plus we have the addition of the different treatments that are really starting to help people. So I think the end is coming and I want you to keep the end in sight. So in the meantime, how you can help yourself is decrease your stress by turning off your TV and stop watching the red dots on the COVID-19 map. Many of you I know are watching it hourly. Turn it off. Stay tuned once a day, update yourself. But if you're watching this, this is very anxiety producing and this just makes you feel anxious by watching this. So turn off the TV, stop the news, and watch something much more uplifting. You need to pace yourself and rest your activities and rest and take alternative activities and rest. Why? Because you need to get a better sleep at night. You need to look at your energy, how you're using it. Are you using your energy physically, emotionally, and mentally? Why? Because if you're listening to this tape, odds are your energy is not normal. Normal energy is 9 to 10 out of 10 on the functional capacity scale. And if your energy is below that, you need to know how you're spending it. So are you doing too much physically, mentally, or emotionally? If you're not sure about this, write down what you're doing on an hourly basis and have a look. And that way you'll have a much better idea of if you do want to duplicate your day. Was it a good day? Did you have energy for the next day? Or did you crash and burn as a result of what you've done? But if you don't write it down, you don't remember these things and it's very difficult for you to take action. You need to especially go to bed not tired and wired, because if you're tired and wired, you're already in a state of overdoing it, you're crashing. And when you crash, what happens is that you have already overdone your ability with your immune system. You've stimulated or you've basically allowed your own viruses from within to be um, out in the open. So basically you've let your viruses, which are normally kept in check by our immune system, and you basically, they are going to begin to proliferate. And this is what the beginning of a crash is. Your immune system is overloaded. So this is what you really need to avoid. So in order to do this, you need to keep your microbiome healthy. You need to eat healthy and take any supplements recommended by your providers. Physically, you need to keep as active as you can, either walking within your home, walking the perimeter of your house, in and out different rooms, keeping track, keep number of the steps. If you're able to have a little bit of increased resistance, using a few small hand weights in bed, but you need to do this carefully according to your provider's recommendations. So if you're not doing this currently, don't start. You need to keep an optimistic attitude of gratitude. Write down all the positives in your life. You can do that either by journaling, or if you're artistic, you can write pictures, stickman, anything will do. Get out some affirmations that you find very helpful or some verses that you find uplifting. You need to fill up your mind with positive outlook and a positive information. Mentally, you need to laugh. Get out your favorite movies and watch them again. One of my favorites is just a silly movie called Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. I mean, it's absolute silliness, and I love the Pink Panther and all these kind of silly movies. But these really do, if you laugh, you basically are upgrading your ability of your immune system to handle itself, and you're basically getting your parasympathetic system working for you. You can also talk with friends, but make sure your friends are also up. You don't want to talk to the ones that are the downers, because you will be more depressed afterwards. So know and have an idea of whether your friends are. So basically, I always suggest you look at your friends. After you talk to your friend, you feel uplifted, then that's a good friend to keep in your life at this point in time. If you talk to your friend and you feel down in the dumps, then you might want to limit the amount of time you spend with that person, because that person is going to make you feel more anxious and more depressed. You can join an online support group and also learn to meditate. So this is getting into the segue of a meditation. I'm going to teach you a short meditation here. And this is going to be a 3-minute meditation. Why? Because the meditation strengthens your immune system. There was a study done on a systemic review of all the meditation and the effects it had on the immune system, and it was found to basically help downregulate the circulating and stimulatory inflammatory proteins or the cytokines. It downloaded or downgraded the transcription factors such as the NF kappa beta, which is a nucleus factor kappa beta. It basically helped increase the immune cell count, which is the T helper cells. It helped immune cell aging, which kept the telomeres being long as possible, and it helped increase the antibody response if that was needed in the immune system and when the antibodies were low. So this is a really important tool that you can use anytime, any place to help you strengthen your own immune system. So I just want to show you a patient case study. I had one lady years ago. She had severe myalgic encephalomyelitis or chronic fatigue syndrome. Her energy was very low at 4 out of 10. Again, normal energy on the functional capacity scale is 9 to 10 out of 10. She was severely disabled. She had severe non-restorative sleep, and she just woke up every morning exhausted and had a really hard time coping. She tried multiple drugs to help her sleep. These were not helpful. So I basically taught her a similar meditation to this and asked her to go home and practice it at night when she didn't sleep, because when you're meditating, you have the opportunity when you're meditating to basically help your body produce its own waves that are the deep sleep waves. Basically, this is the delta waves. So when you get into the delta waves, your body goes into this restorative mode, and this is when it begins to heal. So you can do this at night if you're not sleeping, or in the daytime throughout the day when you're resting, to get your body to get into a much more restorative state. And it really helps. Um, so this lady did this, and after a time, her energy started to improve because she was getting a better quality of sleep. She still was waking up, but her anxiety was down because she had a tool to help her cope with not sleeping. She was actually doing the meditation, and her energy level went up to 6 over 10, and slowly over time, she was able to get off all of her sleeping medications. So this is extremely helpful. So now I'm going to teach you how to help you with stress prevention or stress reduction by doing the 3-minute meditation. So if you're a patient at home, this will also be put separately, so you don't have to listen to the slide presentation every time, but I will begin this now with you. So if you're at home and you're sitting up, I would like you to get into a comfortable chair. If you're at home and you are needing to lie down because your energy level is low, I'd like you to get on your favorite bed or couch, lie down, get a pillow and get comfortable. And particularly if you have orthostatic hypotension, get your feet up, because that way you're getting more blood returned to your brain, and it'll help your brain to focus and function better. For some of you who have very high anxiety, you may not want to close your eyes during this presentation, because you may have difficulty with some flashbacks and things like that. So if that's the case, that's fine. You can still do the meditation with your eyes open. For those of you who are not bothered by these things, I usually recommend that you actually close your eyes. So I'm going to walk you through the actual process first, and then we'll do it. So what I'll have you do initially is take a cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then I'll have you look at your dominant hand, and you can see it. And then I'll have you count internally. I will do it externally for you just so you know what we're doing. But you'll be saying to yourself 1001 and lifting and lowering your thumb. 1002, lifting and lowering your index finger. 1003, lifting and lowering your third finger. 1004, lifting and lowering your ring finger. 1005, lifting and lowering your little finger. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. And why? And I want you to keep it on your leg, because I want you to have the kinesthetic focus. In other words, you can feel your muscles and feel your fingers moving, and it also will give you kinesthetic or muscle memory to help you to remember what this feels like. So begin with me now then. Close your eyes, be comfortable. Big breath in through the nose, cleansing breath, and out through the mouth. Now begin your meditation. And don't worry if you've forgotten where you are. Just start again. And if you have thoughts that occur to you, that's fine. Just accept them without judgment and let them go like you would a balloon that's on a string. You just let it go into the atmosphere and you just say, that's what my brain does. It thinks. And for those of you who have poor memories and you need to remember what your thought is, take a moment, stop the tape, write it down, and then come back to the meditation. And just continue to breathe and count on your dominant hand. And as you're relaxing, your breathing will probably slow down and your breathing out cycle will be longer. And continue to breathe and count on your hand. And don't forget to put the pause in the middle so that you don't hyperventilate. And you can feel your body getting more and more relaxed when you focus on your breathing and your counting. And as you more relax, you can just do all of your breathing just through your nose. You can feel your muscles relaxing. And continue to breathe and count. And if you fall asleep, that's okay. Your body will wake up on its own later. And remember, you can do this breathing and counting meditation anytime throughout the day or throughout the night, so that you can get yourself into this deep, relaxed state. So that's been 3 minutes. So we're going to stop now. I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and be fully alert and fully awake in the moment. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being part of this meditation.